So you're an expert in your field, right? But when you look at social media, you feel kind of invisible. It's frustrating, I totally get it. But what if I told you the real problem isn't your content? It's the very first question you ask yourself before you even post a single thing. Let's flip that question on its head and completely change the game. Ah, this question. Come on, we've all typed this exact phrase into a search bar. It feels like the right thing to do, doesn't it? Like it's the most logical first step to building a real presence online. But what if it's actually a trap? Because it is a trap. In fact, I honestly believe this one question is the root cause of almost all burnout for professionals trying to use social media. It sends you down this crazy rabbit hole of trying to be everywhere at once, which, inevitably leads to building a meaningful presence absolutely nowhere. You know how it is. You see your competitors on 5 different platforms, and you think, okay, I guess that's what I have to do too. But this whole strategy of being everywhere just means you end up spreading really mediocre content way too thin. And what you're left with is a bunch of digital ghost towns. Profiles that exist, sure, but they generate zero real impact for you or your business. Just look at this shift here. The wrong question is all about you. What platform should I be on? But the right question? It's all about your client. Where do they already spend their time? And this isn't just playing with words. This is the fundamental pivot from just randomly posting stuff to having an actual intentional strategy. Okay, so if trying to be everywhere is the problem, then the solution has to be focus. It's about going deep. So let's break down the one rule that can pretty much save you from social media burnout for good. The magic number, especially when you're starting out, is 2. That's it, just 2. The goal here is to go deep, to build real connections, and to create a system you can actually stick with on those 2 channels before you even think about adding a third. Always remember, depth beats breadth, every single time. So how do you pick your 2? Well, it all comes down to a super simple 3-part filter. Number 1, your clients. And you've got to be brutally honest here. Where do they actually hang out? If you're a B2B consultant, you belong on LinkedIn. If you're a wedding photographer, you have to be on Instagram. Simple as that. Number 2, your content. What can you create week after week without wanting to tear your hair out? If you love to write, awesome, LinkedIn is your playground. But if the thought of being on camera makes you cringe, a TikTok-first strategy is probably going to fail. And number 3, your competitors. Look at the ones who are actually succeeding. Where are they putting in the time consistently? That's a huge clue. All right, so once you have those criteria down, it's time to really understand the landscape. Because every platform has its own vibe, its own audience, and its own unwritten rules. Choosing the right arena to play in is, well, everything. So here's a really quick high-level breakdown. Think of Instagram as the ultimate visual portfolio. It's perfect for any field where aesthetics matter. Facebook, which definitely skews a little older, is still completely unmatched for building these really tight-knit communities. LinkedIn, well, that's the undisputed home for professional expertise and B2B networking. And then there's TikTok, which so many people misunderstand. It offers organic reach you just can't get anywhere else, especially for content that teaches something. Let's just boil it down to their superpowers, okay? You use Instagram to build a beautiful, permanent portfolio of what you do. You use Facebook groups to create a thriving community that loves your brand. You use LinkedIn to establish yourself as an authority with smart, insightful writing. And you use TikTok's algorithm to get your message in front of thousands of new people, just by teaching what you already know. All right, you've chosen your 2 platforms. Awesome. But now you're facing that next huge challenge, the tyranny of the blank page. How on earth do you create great content week after week without burning out? Well, the answer is all about reframing how we use AI. I want you to stop thinking of AI as a content creator. Instead, start thinking of it as your personal translation engine. See, you provide the raw material. That's your unique expertise, your client stories, your real opinions. The AI's only job is to translate that raw stuff into a polished post that's perfect for the platform you're on. The expertise is all you. The AI is just the translator. And here's that idea in action. It's the classic garbage in, garbage out situation, right? If you give a vague prompt, you're going to get generic, totally useless content back. But if you give a detailed brief, one that says who you're talking to, what your unique point of view is, and the exact tone you want, well, now you've given the engine the quality material it needs to create something that actually sounds like you. And when you use it this way, this approach is an absolute game changer. I mean, just imagine having a co-pilot that can help you brainstorm a whole month's worth of content ideas, develop a smart hashtag strategy for every single post, and maybe most important of all, help you push through that creative exhaustion that kills so many great social media plans. So, we've covered the strategy, we've covered the tactics, but you know what? None of it, and I mean none of it, matters without this single most important principle that is the foundation for any success on social media. Here it is, the simple, maybe even unglamorous truth of social media success. Just showing up consistently builds trust. It signals that you're reliable. One brilliant post followed by a month of radio silence gets forgotten instantly. But 3 solid posts a week, every single week, that is how you build a real, valuable asset for your business. This is probably the most important mindset shift you can possibly make. You have to see social media not as a daily transaction where you're just hunting for likes, but as a compounding investment in your reputation. Every single post you make is another brick you're laying in the foundation of your professional legacy. Because over time, every post, every comment, every share, it all adds up, and it starts to tell a story, the story of your expertise. And that story is what ultimately turns someone from a passive follower into a paying client. So really, the only question left is, what story are you going to start building today?